What up, y'all? It's your boy T, and you already know what day it is. No other day than Bridge Day. That's right. For people, let me get myself adjusted here. For people who are striving to accomplish the greatness that's within them, for people who are living a life of purpose, those who are seeking to reach this place of ultimate destiny, today is no other day than Bridge Day. And not only that, it's more than just a Bridge Day. Each day becomes, these days added together becomes a bridge of life. And each moment, each second, each step is literally, you realize it is literally getting you closer to the greatness that's within you. And so, the grind, the grind part two. Last week we talked about the grind and what it feels like, what the grind feels like. It can feel like that you're being, pressed, suppressed, pushed up against resistance, but you're not out of the game. You're not down and out. You're still there. And we talked about how it actually is making you stronger to take on more. Um, and oftentimes when we feel like we're being pulled back, um, our lives and purpose many times is like an arrow, a bow and arrow. And the further it goes back will determine how far it will go forward. And so if you're being pulled back a little bit or it feels like it, embrace it because you're actually finna go further. Now, today on the grind part two, I want to hit a few things on you, but I wrote this down. It came to me today. I actually just not wrote it down, but it came to me earlier. These four words, okay? Principle, maximize, energy, and dream team. See, I'll show it to you. Says principle, maximize, energy, and the last one is dream team. What's that mean? Principle. What does that mean? What does the principle mean, right? Principle is a rule that you follow, right? It's a law, right? And so one of the principles to success, one of the principles to achieving greatness, one of the principles to uh, accomplishing your purpose or reaching your purpose is the grind. That's right, the grind, which we're on today. The grind is a principle, and I'm gonna tell you a secret to what of principles, right? You know how in this world we have biases. We all have our own bias. What we're biased towards. I'm biased towards, my wife, or I may bias to my best friend. No matter what nobody says about him, I'm always gonna take his side. I'm biased to him, right? Or you might have a favorite team that you're biased towards, right? Um, Super Bowl just ended the other day, and some people were biased to the Falcons for some reason, and they were all, thought it was all rigged, but the people who were biased for the Patriots, they didn't give up to the end. So we all have biases, right? And the thing about a principle or a law or a rule, a principle is only biased, right? It is biased. I want you to understand that principles are biased. What are they biased to? They are biased to the people that actually operate in them. They are biased to the people who actually use it. So when you embrace this thing about grind, right? What grind is and what it means to grind, that it is hard work. Grind is hard work. Along this journey in life, when you're grinding, that requires hard work on this journey of your life purpose, right? And that's a principle. And you gotta embrace the grind and put in the work. Wake up early if you need to wake up. I've been waking up early the past almost 3 months now. Seems like two and a half months, something like that. And I've been grinding, you know. And that's what it takes if you really want to achieve all that's within you, man. You gotta, in the next word, you gotta maximize yourself. Maximize, right? That's the second word. You gotta maximize yourself. Yeah, I'm giving you a live slideshow today on a notebook paper, on notepad paper. You have to maximize yourself. When I think about the word maximize, I think about one of my favorite players. Is one of my favorite players is actually my favorite player is Michael Jordan, but basketball player. But this other guy who reminds me of him a lot, became one of my favorite was Kobe Bryant. When I think about the word maximize, I think about what he said. He was in an interview one time up in China, and a couple of years ago, they asked him, "What do you want people to remember about you after you retire?" And he said, he didn't say the championships. He didn't say the 81 point game. That's a crazy game. He didn't say the 62 points, in 3 quarters. What he said was, I want them to know that I maximized my talent. I maximized everything that I had within me, and I gave it all. I gave it all, and that's what you want to be noticed as, somebody who maximizes themselves. Even the Apostle Paul says it. He says, in one scripture he says, I have poured out my life. My life is like a drink offering. I have poured it all out on the line, right? I have poured it all out on the line. Jesus himself said after when he was being crucified, and once they put that last nail in, and after the last hit, he said, "It is finished." What is he saying? I've maximized myself. I've given everything. I have maximized it. And so, are you maximizing yourself? Are you maximizing yourself? And I realize this, which is going to get me next to my next point, third one, energy. When you maximize yourself, when you are committed to the principle of the grind and hard work, and you maximize yourself, right? You maximize everything. You lay it all out, right? There's this energy that you find. There's a newfound energy that you find. I used to tell my basketball players, because I coach, and I tell them that I want to get you as tired as possible, to the point to where I want to see you making this face, this tired face you make. Some people make this face and and I want to see them continue to play with that face and that feeling, right? Because I tell them, you haven't even met what I call the beast side of you, the super side of you. You can't see that until you maximize yourself. And so as a coach, I take it upon myself to maximize them, make them push until they feel like they're on empty, and then let's play some ball. Because when you maximize yourself, you find a different level, a higher level of 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 operation of your purpose, a higher level that you didn't think you can operate in, a higher knowledge that you think you can get to. And that's happening to me personally right now in my life, in this season of my life. I'm decided to give my energy to my purpose, to give my energy to the things and dreams that's inside of me. I mean, there's been so much knowledge that's gravitated to me, so much knowledge that's been able to get in front of my face, and people that I've met, and now I'm going higher because I maximize myself. Kobe was able to hit 81 points. Why? Because he maximized himself. He's able to do the 62 and 3 quarters because he maximized himself. He was able, his last game, I know he shot 50 times, but his last game, 60 points at age 37, because he maximized himself. And he found that energy. And that energy, when as a Christian, as a believer, that energy, that's the grace of God. You found the grace of God. When you get to so many levels in the grind, you meet the grace, which is that energy that empowers you to do something that maybe you don't have the power to do, but God's grace gives you that and equips you with that. And the last thing, one of my favorite words, dream team. That's right, dream team. When you are surrounded, well, first of all, I want to just go over this real quick. The principle leads to you maximizing yourself. Principle of grinding, right? That maximizing introduces you to an energy, a higher level energy. That higher level energy, okay, we get ready for this. The higher level energy gives you a new surrounding of people who operate with that same energy, that same level. Why is Dream Team so important to me? Because I think about 1992, the USA, the Olympic Dream Team, the Dream Team, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Clyde Drexler. Oh yeah, I know them all, you know. And it was the best of the best. And Michael Jordan, all the games that he's played. Now this man has 6 rings, as you can see back there in that picture. 6 championships. He never lost the finals. He played with the flu and hit a game-winning shot. He scored 60 so many times. He scored 50s, 40s so many times. He's considered one of the greatest players ever, if not the greatest. And you know what he said? His best game that he ever played in was a dream team practice, the Olympic dream team, when they had an in-house practice, a scrimmage against each other. He said that was the most competitive game and best game that he's ever played in his whole life. Why? Because he was surrounded by this atmosphere of guys who maximize themselves, this atmosphere of guys who put in the grind, just like he put in the grind in his own personal time. And they did the same thing. And here you are, you have this clash of this energy of greatness, right? Maximizing and grinding and this energy, and then you have this thing called the dream team, and they wouldn't conquer these other teams, and they won gold medals. And so the grind, baby. So that's what I have today. The grind is the principle which will lead you to maximize yourself, which will also introduce you to a higher level of energy, a higher level of knowledge, a higher level of your purpose and your destiny, a higher level of knowing who God is, right? And all that he has for you. And then that will give you a new surrounding of people, surround you with a dream team where you can play at the highest level that you've ever played at in life, right? And so it's your boy here, T, saying grind, 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 right? And I'll see y'all next week.